The sounds of horns blaring increases by the minute, rising into the clear blue sky. The sun shines with vengeance on the impatient and some unruly drivers. This is Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya. The name Nairobi originated from the Ma community, or the Maasai, who initially referred to it as Ewaso Naiberi, meaning place of cool waters. It was founded by the British in 1899 as a simple rail depot linking Mombasa to Uganda. It then grew to become the capital of British East Africa in 1907. Gradually, it expanded, and by 1920, there were 9,000 inhabitants to 80,000 by 1950. At this particular time, major streets and avenues bore mostly English and few South Asian names. This is Valley Road. In the 1950s, it was characterized by trees on either sides of the road and not so wide, accommodating only 2 lanes of cars. The road has a hilly terrain with a distant view of Nairobi CBD. The present-day Valley Road has not changed much. It is marked by modern vehicular traffic and buildings with increased outdoor advertising. The road is wider, less congested, unlike most Nairobi streets, with mostly personal cars and a few public transport vehicles. Valley Road links with Kenyatta Avenue, named after the first president of Kenya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. In the 1950s and the 1960s, Kenyatta Avenue was known as Delamere Avenue. It was less busy, and on a normal working day, it looked deserted compared to present day. It is now bustling with life and intercuts Uhuru Highway at the magnificent fountain. Unlike the past, the avenue is much busier and congested with buildings that are more advanced and modern. An interesting feature of the street is the sculpture of 3 freedom fighters right in the middle of the street. Major banks are also found on this street. This is Princess Elizabeth Way. In 1952, Princess Elizabeth and her husband, the Duke of Edinburgh, visited Kenya. The visit was of great importance to the colonial administration of the time. In 1960, most of the cars were British. Currently, Princess Elizabeth visited Kenya on May 24, 2012 for her birthday. Uhuru Highway, which shares the roundabout with Kenyatta Avenue. It is a broad and equally busy, wide and modern. It was given the Swahili name, which means freedom or independence, from its former name, Princess Elizabeth Way. It borders Uhuru Park. Uhuru Park also has a public viewpoint where most of the skyscrapers in Nairobi are clearly visible. Kamuzu Banda, leader of Malawi between 1961 and 1994. He was born on the 15th of February 1898 and died on 25th November 1997. After receiving much of his education overseas, Banda returned to his home country, then the British Nyasaland, to speak against colonialism and advocate for independence in 1964. Banda Street is named in his honor. Unlike Kenyatta Avenue, it is a street with quite a lot of traffic on a normal day. Most parking places are full of personal cars. It is commonly known for Jamia Mosque that was built in the 1940s and renovated 42 years later. Presently, it is modern and larger. Adjacent to it is Koinange Street, named after Chief Koinange. It was formerly known as Sadler Street and has undergone so much transformation from the past, where the streets were mostly empty and dull, to the present Koinange Street with modern buildings and moving with life. It is also known as Nairobi's Red Light Street. Next to it is another street with leafy green trees, flowers, and also a glimpse of the I&M skyscraper. Mwindi Bingu. As the name suggests, it is a street that was named after a political veteran, Samuel Mwindi Bingu, who was born in 1893 and schooled up to Form 4 at Kabete Technical. In the pre- and post-colonial days, the major form of transport was buses. Matatus were unheard of. Harding Street had the biggest, if not the busiest stage. On a working day, the streets were less populated, with a few buildings, till it was renamed from Harding to Kimathi Street. It is the home to one of the oldest first-class hotels dating back to 1902, the Sarova Stanley. It was named after Dedan Kimathi Washiuri, a freedom fighter and a leader of the Mau Mau movement who fought against the British colonial government. In his honor, his statue was mounted at the end of the street. Mama Ngina Street, formerly known as Queensway, home for the first town hall in Kenya, presently known as City Hall. This street was mainly used by the Queen and her officials, so it was quite neat and had less traffic. Mama Ngina is the wife of the first president of Kenya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Mama Ngina Street joins one of the major and busiest streets in Nairobi, Moi Avenue. The first attraction here is the enormous statue of Tom Mboya. And just around, hundreds of people are either relaxing or meeting friends. The street was formerly known as Government Road. Government Road was quiet and peaceful, with the trace of one or two old cars, probably Ford, and no shops or trading facilities. The present National Archives by then was known as the National Bank of India. Currently, more buildings, business centers, shops, banks, and people dot the street. It was named after Kenya's second and longest serving president, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, who also had the privilege of having his face on the Kenyan currency notes. In the early 1960s, it was the most business-oriented street, with a number of shops considered busy at that. Clearly, a road that had traffic menace because it had traffic police to monitor movements of vehicles. Few people owned cars those days, so many people used bicycles to move. Currently, the street is considered the most populated both in terms of business and people. Tom Mboya Street, named after the famous Tom Mboya, who was born in August 1930 and died July 5, 1969, after being assassinated in Nairobi. He was well known as the founder of the Nairobi People Congress Party and also a key figure in the formation of Kenya-Africa Union. Beyond the subtle Moi Avenue and busy Tom Mboya lies a one-lane shopping district, Luthuli Avenue. It is bustling with life. Here, at least 3 matatu stages serving different parts of the city converge. Boda operators and tuk-tuks jostle for customers. Amid all this noise and mayhem, the melody of gospel and rage music finds its way to the eardrums of passers-by. It is the newly crowned Technology Center in downtown Nairobi, named after Chief Albert Luthuli from the Republic of South Africa. He was the first African to win a Nobel Peace Prize and the president of the African National Congress till his death in 1967. Ronald Ngala Street was known as the Duke Road. The street is named after Ronald Ngala, who was born in the coastal town of Kilifi in the British colony of Kenya in 1923 and later died in 1972. Besides being a business-oriented street, it is also believed to have the most number of supermarkets and also the street where you can get goat and camel milk. Intercutting Ronald Ngala is Mfangano, a Swahili name meaning convergence of people. And true to its name, it is a street where people converge for business and other social gatherings. It has never had its name changed, evidently seen by the old street name posts. To crown it all up is Haile Selassie. It is known as the mother of all streets. Named after Haile Selassie, who was crowned emperor in 1930 and exiled during World War II after leading the resistance of the Italian invasion. He was reinstated in 1941 and sought to modernize the country over the next decades. He led Ethiopia till 1974, when famine, unemployment, and political opposition forced him from office. Later, he died in 1975 and is well remembered to be a hard supporter for reggae music. He is also famously known for his quote, "Growth has yielded to a beautiful Nairobi." Population, streets lighting, cleanliness, businesses, infrastructure, heroes and heroines are rising by the day. Who knows, more streets and avenues may be formed. Better yet, the history of Nairobi may repeat itself, or something else may motivate another rebirth of the streets.